Many centuries before Christ, on a little rocky peninsula in the eastern Mediterranean, that which we call Western civilization began. Here, personal freedom of thought and expression gave birth to the democratic system of government and a full flowering of the arts, at a time when the rest of mankind labored under the burden of absolute political and religious tyranny. The poet Pindar summed up the Greek belief in the ultimate triumph of the human spirit when he wrote, "We can reach to God's own likeness in the soaring mind." In the beginning came chaos, and next, wide-bosomed earth and the deathless gods. The deathless gods who hold the snowy peaks of Mount Olympus. The house of Zeus, the loud thunderer, is glad, and the peaks of Olympus resound. The home of the immortals. Come forth then, O clouds, reveal yourselves. Whether you be resting on the sacred summits of Olympus crowned with snow, or whether you linger in gardens of ocean, your father, come hither, we pray.
Eternal clouds, let us appear. Let us arise from the roaring depths of ocean, our Father. Let us fly towards the lofty mountains and spread our damp wings over their forest-laden summits, whence we will dominate the distant valleys, the harvest fed by the sacred earth, and the resounding waves of the sea which the unwearying sun lights with glittering beams. Let us shake off the rainy fogs which hide our immortal beauty and sweep the earth from afar with our gaze. Come then. Let us begin with the Muses, who gladden the spirit of their father, Zeus, in Olympus, with their songs, telling of things that are, and that shall be, and that were aforetime. Let the Muses begin to sing, and dance on soft feet, up on the highest mountain.
Thence they arise and go abroad, praising Zeus. Father of gods and men. How much he is the most excellent among the gods and supreme in power. Though the deep will of Zeus be hard to track, yet doth it flame and glance, a beacon in the dark, mid clouds of chance that wrap mankind.
O guardian Zeus, that sittest above the clouds, and rulest over wintry Dodona, from afar off, behold the glory of Olympia. And of the Olympian Games. Where is striving of swift feet, and of strong bodies brave to labor.
All shout to their horses, and shake the reins in their hands. The whole course is filled with the noise of rattling chariots. The dust flies upward, and all in a confused throng ply their goads unsparingly, each striving to pass the wheels and snorting steeds of his rivals. And he that overcometh hath, for the sake of these games, a sweet tranquility throughout his life forevermore.
The far peaks sleep, the great ravines, the foothills and the streams. Asleep are trees and hived bees, the mountain beasts, and all that dark earth teems, and every bird, its wide wings folded, sleeps.
The sun in his blazing chariot rides now, lighting the earth. His flames in the high air drive back the stars, and the peaks of Parnassus, where no man walks, flash back from their snows the gleam of his wheels, and light man's day.
And you, O Lord Apollo, god of the silver bow, shooting now afar. Many are your temples and wooded groves. And all peaks and towering bluffs of lofty mountains are dear to you. There you blossom as does a mountain top with woodland flowers. I sing how at the first you went about the earth, seeking a place of oracle for men, O far-shooting Apollo. You went, speeding swiftly to the mountain ridge, and came to Delphi, beneath snowy Parnassus. A cliff hangs over it, and a hollow, rugged glade runs under. There the Lord Apollo resolved to make his lovely temple, and thus he said,
In this place I am minded to build a glorious temple, to be an oracle for men. And here they will always bring perfect sacrifices, both they who dwell in rich Peloponnesus and the men of Europe, and from all the wave-washed isles, coming to question me.
And the countless tribes of men built the whole temple of wrought stones, to be sung of forever.
Muse, tell me the deeds of golden Aphrodite, who stirs up sweet passion in the gods and subdues the tribes of mortal men.
What's life or pleasure, wanting Aphrodite, when I am cold to the golden-haired goddess, when love and love's soft gifts no more delight me? Then would I die.
Happy that man on whom Mother Earth fully bestows her blessings. His land gives life and is heavy with produce, and his house is filled with many good things. His sons exult in ever-fresh delight. His daughters play merrily over the soft flowers of the field.
Muse, sing then of Hermes, the luck-bringing messenger of the immortals.
Sing then of Poseidon, the great god, who shakes the earth and tossing waters. The god of the deep.
Now, maidens who pour forth the rains, let us move toward Attica, the rich country of Athena, the home of the brave.
Oh, once more to stand, where on the wooded headland, under the shadow of Sunium's height, the surf is breaking. Thence could I greet from afar the divine city of Athens.
Stranger, in this land thou hast come to earth's fairest home. Look out on the olive-laden hills, enchanted hills, where the gray gleaming olive, the gift of the maiden Athena, first was grown. A soft gray wreath for a well-loved city, a city of light.
Let us visit the dear land of Athena. What glorious temples, what statues, what holy prayers to the gods of Olympus. At every season, nothing but sacred festivals. Then spring brings round again the joyous feasts of Dionysus, the harmonious contests of the choruses, the serious melodies of the flute. Sing now of Pallas Athena, the glorious goddess, our city by the immortal god's intent, and the decree of Zeus shall never come to harm. For our bold champion, Pallas of Athens, shields and protects us. So with a forecast of good I speak this prayer for them, that the sun's bright magnificence shall break out wave on wave of all the happiness life can give across their land. The histories tell of a mighty power which came forth out of the sea, where on an island there was a wonderful empire. Minos, king of Crete, is the earliest of all those known to us by tradition who acquired a navy. He made himself master of a very great part of what is now called the Hellenic Sea. At the very beginning, these people built a palace, which they continue to ornament in successive generations, every king surpassing the one who went before him to the utmost of his power, until they made the building a marvel to behold for size and beauty. Because of the greatness of the empire, many things were brought to them from foreign countries, and they had an amount of wealth as was never before possessed by kings. The entire area was densely crowded with habitations, and merchants kept coming from all parts, who kept up a multitudinous sound of human voices and din and clatter of all sorts, day and night. For many generations, they lived as men of high spirit, uniting gentleness with wisdom. But when human nature got the upper hand, they grew full of avarice and unrighteous power. This vast power endeavored to subdue the land of Greece, which finally defeated and triumphed over the invader. Parts of the circuit wall of Mycenae are still left, including the gate, which is surmounted by lions. Among the ruins of Mycenae are underground buildings of King Atreus and his children. I, Mycenae, the city once so rich in gold, I who received into my walls the house of Atreus, I who sacked Troy that a god built, I who was the secure seat of the Greek demigods, lie here, the pasture of sheep and oxen, with naught of my greatness left but the name. The mountains of the Athenians are Parnus. Where wild bears and boars are hunted. And Pentelicon. Where there are marble quarries. and 𝘾𝙞𝙀𝙧𝙯, which has excellent food for bees. Attica, because of its thin soil, has been less disturbed than other states since the earliest times. With the same people always occupying it. All Greeks used to wear arms because they lived in places which were unprotected and unsafe. The Athenians were among the very first to lay aside their arms and adopt a more relaxed and luxurious way of life.
I have eaten most austerely little cakes of sesame, honey sweet and drunk down merrily, one large jar in revelry. Now's the time for music clearly, bring the dainty lute along. Now the lovely, the most dearly loved of damsels is my song.
Increase in power and wealth brought all the land into the hands of a few. Civil discord became violent until at last Solon became mediator and archon. He fought for both parties against both parties, and he said, I gave the commons their sufficient meed of strength, nor let them lack, nor yet exceed. Those who were mighty and magnificent, I bade them have their due and be content. My strong shield guarded both sides equally, and gave to neither unjust victory. On one of his tours in the country, they say Pisistratus, the dictator, saw a man digging the soil on Mount 𝘾𝙞𝙀𝙧. Evidently, all he had to dig or cultivate was stones. And Pisistratus asked the man how much he was getting out of the land. Just so many aches and pains, the man said. And of these aches and pains, Pisistratus ought to take his 10%. The man said this without knowing whom he was speaking to. But Pisistratus was pleased with his hard work and with his plain speaking, and excused him from paying any more taxes. Pisistratus kept the country always in a state of peace and good order, so that it became a popular saying that life under Pisistratus was paradise on earth. Athens, which had been great before, now grew even greater. Meanwhile, Darius, the king of Persia, was going about his own business, assembling a great multitude of ships and a great army, with Athens as their goal. They landed at Marathon. When the Athenians heard of it, they marched out to meet them. The Athenians who marched out to Marathon were led by 𝘾𝙀𝙫𝙀 and 9 other generals. When the other generals could not agree whether to attack or retreat, 𝘾𝙀𝙀𝙀 went to the commander-in-chief and pressed him, saying, "It is now in your power whether to enslave Athens or to make her free. Since there has been an Athens, its people have never been in danger so great. If we bow in submission to the Persians, our people will be handed over to the tyrants. But if our city lives through this time, she may become the greatest of cities. All depends on you." The Athenians armed and formed for the attack. They charged the Persians at a run. They fought a long time at Marathon, and in the end, the Greeks were victorious. On the plain is the grave mound of the Athenians. I will fight as long as I live, and shall not count life more precious than freedom.